Hey, Coach, how are you?
Yeah, Jonas, hope you're doing well.
I am. You've touched on this earlier this week about kids from in-state kids being recruited by both sides when it comes to Duke and when it comes to NC State and having sometimes to choose between those two schools. You have a guy on your roster, Bam Knight, who committed to Duke. He decommitted and committed to you guys. What was the recruiting process like with a guy like Bam? And then what do you think was the final push to kind of sold him on NC State?
Um, a lot of times when kids commit, they get caught up in the hype of a moment, and I think he was at the Duke UNC basketball game when that happened. As time kind of went on, I think he realized that he made a decision that he needed to reevaluate. I'm not completely sure why he felt that way, but we never stopped recruiting him. Didn't feel like when it happened that it was something that would last, just because it felt emotional at the time as opposed to something that he'd been, thinking through for a long period of time. To his credit, he came back here probably 7 or 8 times after that just to make sure that this was what he wanted. And for us, it was just about providing information and showing him all the positives that we have. We don't negative recruit and talk bad about other places. So just wanted to make sure he understood what NC State had to offer him, and thankful for us that he did.
He did mention that. He said the UNC Duke game kind of won him over when he went over there. But he also said this game was kind of personal for him. Like not that anything bad happened when he was being recruited by Duke, but he just wanted the coaches there to see him play because they haven't seen him play since high school.
Yeah,
Is that a lot of times is that the approach with in-state guys when they're playing against a team that also recruited them pretty heavily?
I could see that. I don't know. It's not something I spend a lot of time talking to them about. But I know that there's relationships that they have, on other sidelines, whether it's former teammates or friends that might play for that school or coaches. So I can see how that would be a motivating factor for a guy.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yep.
Mike Toper.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Duke this season has been prone to turn the ball over. Even last game, they still had, I think, an interception. You talked about how your team, especially defensively, always preaches trying to create turnovers. Have you seen an extra, I don't know if excitement is the word, but an extra emphasis this week in trying to force turnover Saturday, knowing that this is a team that is prone to doing that?
Well, we've definitely talked about the fundamentals of taking the ball away like we do every week. I think week in and week out, there's different things that you see on tape. Some people don't carry the ball with a lot of ball security. Some quarterbacks will hold the ball low in the pocket. For an example, last week we knew that the Virginia quarterback delivered the ball low. He had a kind of a sidearm release, so we talked about getting our hands up and batting balls. So, it's week to week on what you really emphasize when it comes to the weakness of the opponent. In the case of Duke, they've thrown some interceptions, they've fumbled some balls. I know they work hard on that. So, our kids right now are I would say, very excited about what happens, when they get takeaways here and they see the outcome, how it helps our offense. And I know they enjoyed the sideline celebration they had, doing those things Saturday. So I think there's a lot of energy about it here.
Aaron.
Hey, Dave, with the goal line stands the last 2 weeks, what's been the main way you attack sort of preparing for goal line stands in practice?
I think the biggest thing, it's being tough. Guys just got to want it down there. They got to be really strong, stout, have good pad level. Obviously, you're going to see quarterback sneaks. You're going to see whatever their bread and butter short yardage runs are, and then the play action passes. So you just have to rep those things. But it's very hard to simulate in practice without going live what that's really like down there, and Josh Harris and Aleem McNeil and C.J. Clark and Savion Jackson. Those are some strong, thick guys that really have fought hard in the trenches in those areas to win the line of scrimmage for us in those two situations.
Thank you.
Rob McLam.
Yeah, Dave, have you spoken to the team about potentially, if you guys can get the win, this would be 4-1, about this, looking at this as an opportunity to really get some separation maybe from the rest of the ACC?
Not really, no. It's more about just doing the things it takes to be 4-1. And I think when you focus on that kind of stuff, that extracurricular reward, it takes you away from the details that help you get it. And so the formula for us has been how to win a game, not what you get by winning the game. And I think that's really important for this team to stay grounded and be humble and understand how hard it is to win and what it takes to win a game.